It's the best DC Comics show on YouTube. Welcome to Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. How's your Sunday night going? Let me introduce you to the panel as how they appeared backstage. He is the Legion of Comic Collectors DC Daddy, Tim the Comic Collector.
What's up? How's it going, everybody?
Station, Tim.
Station.
Currently providing shelter for Crypto the Super Dog. He is the Fur Father, Comic Food 2814. I saw the eye roll.
How's it going, everyone?
Good. And last but certainly not least, Tony Danza, starring as Tony Fett.
Hey, I like Tony Danza, so joke's on you. I like it. I'll keep it.
Tony Danza always played a character named Tony.
Yeah, that's weird. You're right. That's kind of cheap.
Yeah. My and actually Tony Danza went to college in my area. He's not from my area originally, but he went to college in my area. So
what do you go to school for? Like, was it?
You know what? I'm not exactly for sure. So yeah, but the extent of, I haven't run into him because apparently he does come back for reunions and stuff too. But I do know his favorite Italian restaurant to eat at in that town. And before I get off the subject of Tony Danza, I'll say that my Tony Danza impression is kind of goes like this. Angela.
It's perfect.
Thank you to everyone who's watching Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, especially for joining us on the Rewind. Those live with us, Sean's Puff Comics 83 is here. Hi, Sean. Thanks for stopping by. We have I Collect a Lot. He's here to hang with us. That's awesome. She doesn't miss a show. Christy is here. Great to see you here. I was
just thinking about her. Like, it's weird she hasn't said anything in the chat yet.
Yep, she's here, though. And the person who knows what topic we are on tonight, Michael Ackery. So it's great to have you here.
You should look at Michael Ackery's story. He's going to the Green Lantern side.
I saw that he found a cover that he really enjoyed.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We're getting him there.
Yeah.
So
3 months from now, he'll be a host on here with us.
Yeah, exactly. Right? He will be replacing me. Because I always feel like I'm one review away from getting fired off of this show.
It's
no, if
like
I made it this
review,
far,
but you know,
if I made it this far, you should be fine.
By the way, Tony, we need to talk after the show.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe not.
Your yearly reviews up tonight.
It's not looking good.
Tim and I have been talking.
Before we start into our DC news, did anyone get a chance to watch Doom Patrol? Their new season dropped this week with 3 episodes. Has anyone had a chance to see any of it?
I'm two episodes into the new season.
2 episodes in, okay.
I've made peace with that show. It's just not for me.
I understand that.
So, it's just not my taste.
Yeah, I understand that. It's a very weird show, but it's kind of like the little show that just keeps chugging away. It does its own little thing. And I will say that I've watched all 3. I won't do any spoilers, except to say that the first 2 for sure were a little bit difficult trying to get into. But that's the same way. That's the same way with their other seasons, how they started out too. The 3rd one was better. I'm not giving up on the show.
No.
And one thing I just seem to love is the actress that plays Rita Farr.
Yeah.
The way she pronounces Rita, she makes it 2 syllables. You know, we would just say Rita. She says Rita.
Yeah.
So
and
it's one of my favorite parts.
I gotta say that Cliff Steele is still my favorite character on the show.
Yeah.
You know something we didn't talk about on the show that's actually pretty cool?
What's that?
Did you guys know the Green Lantern, the movie, went to Netflix and actually was hugely successful, a top 5 movie, and was trending?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was like it was I think it was number 1 there for a while, right?
I think when I saw it, it was like number 3, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, no, it was there for several weeks.
Wow, yeah. That's pretty cool. I ended up watching it again because it was, there. And it was
it's really
so
not
funny
that
trying
bad.
to explain to my family, like my kids, like, what's like Parallax shows up, what's that? Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Hey, Steven Spock, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you joining us in the live chat. Also, I see this guy, and I think of vacuum cleaners. Aggressively relaxing is here.
See, Ackery's fighting it hard.
Yep.
Fighting it hard. He doesn't want to admit to himself.
No.
Now, did you
do it?
have any of you guys been watching another DC, I'll say, related show, Y: The Last Man on FX and Hulu?
Nope.
I have
How
not.
is
I
it?
haven't. I didn't
heard
know
it's
that
pretty
was out
good.
yet.
I heard it's
It
good.
is so good.
Is it?
Yes. Now I say DC related because it was Vertigo, I believe.
Right.
And it is. They came out with. They did the same thing where they came out with the first 3 episodes. I don't know if they might be up to 4 so now, but really, really good.
I'll watch it tonight if it's on Hulu. I'll start it.
Yeah, definitely. I highly recommend. It's got kind of like that Walking Dead kind of vibe, and then it takes its own kind of spin from
Is
there.
it maybe it's too early to give this answer, but is it like Walking Dead kind of more for adults than than for kids? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I like that. I like those shows.
I hate to say this with Acri in the chat, but I've actually been watching the Falcon and Winter Soldier the last week or so.
And now your yearly review is up.
Yeah.
That's something I always say. Like, I like the Marvel shows. I just don't care to get into the comics. I mean, I read them when I get them, but I don't go out of my way.
Yeah. Let's say hello to Brandon Looney Tunes fan 2000. He's got 122 subs now. It seems like
Awesome.
he just had 121. But go sub him up and increase his sub count. Sub everyone up if you're not subscribed to them that's in the chat. And of course, our panel. Links to our panel members chat are in the description for this video.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I think I even said in the Fanboys chat, like, you watch any DC show, you switch over to like Winter Soldier, and it's like, I don't know what DC does, but it doesn't feel like their characters are real people. And then you watch like Falcon and Winter Soldier, and like, these are real people that act normal. And
I think that DC tends to, like, they want the younger demographic, especially with that network that most of their shows are on. So they gear that towards that. Yeah. It feels like a 90210 type of show.
It does.
Where Marvel's TV shows just feel like movies.
Yeah, because like even the Titans would be like an adult show, and
true,
they don't act like adults.
Well,
I love Titans this week without giving any spoilers. Titans this week was all for this boy.
All right,
it was a good one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some characters finally showed up.
Some characters that I like were on that episode.
And it's funny because back when they, season 3 was like they just finished filming and they gave the cast list, it had that specific character listed as a season regular. Mm-hmm. And here we are, like 8 episodes in, finally.
Finally,
I was like, well, how is that a season regular if they come like right before the end?
Yeah.
Did you watch Stargirl? Anybody?
I watched Stargirl. Yeah.
It's a very interesting episode.
That was a good episode. I mean, it wasn't the most action-packed, but they all don't need to be.
The one thing I would say about it is, like, Stripe warned them at the beginning of the season what Eclipso's going to do, and now Eclipso's doing it, and it's like they all forgot, like, he's going to mess with your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which certainly Eclipso ties into our retro review that we'll be getting to in just a little bit. Yeah. Is there any DC news to talk about this week?
Yes. They announced that if you remember a few years ago, you remember that DC documentary, Necessary Evil? If you haven't seen it, it was good. It was, they dive deep into DC villains and how important they are into the story. And they got people like Neil Adams showing up in the documentary talking about it. Jeff Johns, like all these big, like AAA tier DC writers and artists. And they talk about how important it is in the villains. And they got Christopher Lee to do the narration to talk about the psychology of some of these villains. And it is really, really good. But now they're coming back with another one, but it's probably not going to be as exciting, but it's just going to be about the history of DC Comics, which I think is still pretty exciting. I'm going to check it out.
That's awesome. I want to say hello to Tylox the Mighty, who has joined us. And also saw BTC Moon Guy has popped in as well. It's great to have both of you stopping by. Stephen Spock asking if anyone has watched Squid Game.
I started it and only got about 15 minutes before kids happened, and I never got back to it, but I plan to watch it.
I just started watching it today. I think I'm on the 2nd episode.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty good.
What other DC news do we have for this week?
I read this article. It was forwarded to me by Richard Seago, and I don't think I sent it to you guys, but it goes in depth of how the New 52 happened. And basically what it boils down to, like, I only made it, it's a really, really long article, you know, featuring quotes from like all the big people, Snyder, Jeff Lemire, all these people. And you read it, you know, it starts off how they were going into it and all this different stuff. And basically it almost sounds like a spur of the moment idea. And like every writer would start saying the same thing and be like, well, there was supposed to be a continuity board, but I never saw it. The guy that wrote Demon Knights had this awesome idea, was planning it out, writing it. They're like, oh, nope, you can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean I can't do that? Like, it just seemed like the vibe I got from it was like no leadership, no plan, just spur of the moment. And that's sort of how it fell apart. But
well, it's
very
nice
interesting.
To know that things
read.
don't change.
Yeah. But it was the funniest part was it starts off, Dan DiDio's like, I looked at Jim Lee and it's like, we're not going to be the guys to run this ship into the ground. So they come up with New 52, don't plan, and run it into the ground. It's sort of the funniest part of that whole article.
Hello to Joey Bag of Sevens. Thanks for stopping by.
Joey Bag of Sevens. That's a good one.
Any other DC news?
I don't think so. I think that's some of the bigger ones. It's been kind of pretty bland. Oh, the unofficial revival of the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
They're doing a team up book. I don't know if it's its own book or what, but Red Hood and Nightwing are going to be teaming up in a book soon.
Yeah, I heard about that. I don't know if I'm excited about it as everyone else is, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I hope it's its own book and not like Red Hood just shows up at Nightwing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hello to Mars Comics.
There's for those that are collecting the Funko Pops, there's a whole new set of Green Lantern related pops that have been coming out and are planned to come out through the rest of the year that I noticed. And I just started pre-ordering some, but it's weird because they're redoing the White Lantern and Black Lantern Wonder Woman pops. And I don't know why they chose those two, because at least for the White Lantern, they've already done it before.
I think that ties into Funko is doing, they did it earlier this year, and they're doing a second wave right now that's just starting to get solicited, and some are starting to show up. But it's for Wonder Woman's 80th anniversary.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, that's how they're retying that in. Essentially, pretty much any costume or any variation of a costume that she's worn in 80 years is a Funko Pop.
Wow.
Or is
I
going
was
to be a Funko
surprised.
Pop.
I saw a guy opening Funko Pops. Actually, his Pop Fun to Play was buying a collection, and I was seeing a bunch of Wonder Woman pops I didn't know existed, like Nubia,
the
the 60s outfit. I'm like, when did these come out?
Yeah, that was those were part of the 60s outfit. The mod era came out as part of the first wave, and Nubia was the beginning of the second wave. Hello to Sharon, live with two YouTubers. I appreciate you stopping by.
Aquaman news. Yeah. They announced the villains, and one could go either way. So I think we all had the impression that Black Manta is returning, and he is. Ocean Master is also coming back. And one other villain, Karshan, which is a mutant radiated tiger shark / humanoid. And hopefully maybe Fu can shine some light on this, because it says the character Karshan was a Green Lantern adversary for decades. But I had never heard of this character.
Oh, a shark? That's
Shark?
the shark character that I thought King Shark was forever.
Yeah.
When everyone was going crazy about King Shark, I'm like, the Green Lantern villain?
Yeah, I think his first appearance is the one where it's like a Silver Age cover, and there's a planet with a continent the shape of Green Lantern on it. And he's like going in to investigate. And I think that's the first appearance of the shark.
Well, apparently he's coming. His first appearance on the movie screen is going to be in an Aquaman movie, which, sure.
Wow.
So, who's the biggest bad? I don't know who the big bad is.
He's closely associated with like Atlantis and Black Mana and stuff. More recently, I would say. Yeah. You'd see him in those books.
Yeah, I don't know. Not a villain I knew a whole lot about, so I had to do some research on him. But I guess they have an actor for King Atlan from the first Aquaman movie is coming back, probably in some kind of flashback. But Stingray is also a character. If you remember the old Aquaman villain, Stingray's coming back. So we have like 4 villains in this movie so far.
They haven't cashed
Because
any
that's what
piranhas,
DC
have
does. They just can't keep a focus.
And the actor who played the marine biologist who found Black Manta, I can never remember. He's in WandaVision. Gosh, I can't remember his name. It's in the article, I'm sure. Well, anyway, he's coming back too, but he's not really a villain. I don't know what you call him, but he's back. So we'll see. December 16, 2022.
Cool.
Isn't
Hopefully
the
it's a good
only
one.
correct answer to the Looney Tunes question Bugs Bunny?
Tasmanian Devil for me.
Oh man,
Yeah, I think it would be Bugs Bunny.
it's gotta
Bugs
be
Bunny.
Bugs.
Taz.
You're out, Tony.
Taz. All right,
You're
bye. I like
Any other
Taz because he's
DC news?
unpredictable. Nah, that's all I got, really.
Kind of bit.
I know in the new comics this week, there's some series I hadn't heard of coming out. And this week, this ain't news, but for those waiting for it, like I am, Deathstroke's new book starts this week. So,
Very cool.
oh, it's something to mention for you speculators. You know, the next couple books that are going to be like Punchline that I know I'm not going to be able to get at the shop. There's 2 big characters coming. That's probably going to be hard to get those books. The Batwoman Who Laughs
Really?
is going to debut in Justice League Incarnate issue 2.
Interesting.
Because that's what DC does. Like, you know, Batman Who Laughs is popular, so let's just make a girl version.
Yep.
And then what was the other character? Oh, a new Joker is going to appear, I believe, in issue 6 or 7 of Gotham, Future State Gotham,
Yeah.
the next Joker. So, and I know people are already speculating on it, so I'm already dreading
You're already
trying to
not
get
going to
these
get
books
it.
new. Yeah,
Yep.
save up some money to buy them off eBay.
I'm pretty lucky. My LCS is if you have it in your pull box, you're guaranteed an issue.
Same with me.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So as
You
we
guys ready
segue,
for Spectre trivia?
yeah, you got Spectre trivia for us.
Spectre trivia. So, you guys had a tough time last week. So when I took my kids to the park, I just asked like the toddlers questions, and I'm only going with questions they got right. So you guys ready? All right. So what color is the Spectre's cape?
Green.
Green.
No, I'm just messing with you. The real questions.
I'm okay with that
All right.
question.
What was the name? I don't know if he's the first one as far as continuity goes. The first Spectre who was also a member of the JSA. What was his name?
Jim Corrigan.
Jim Corrigan.
Yeah, that sounds right. When I hear it, I didn't know it, but when I heard it, I'm like,
So-
yeah, that sounds right.
So the very next host, who had just quit being the host of the Spectre, who you could say is responsible for all the devastation we see in this series, was also a former Green Lantern.
Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan. All right, this next question, I'm afraid it might spoil something, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I'm not 100% sure. But I didn't see any hints in these first 3 books, but it ties in with everything. The Spectre is God's vengeance on Earth, right?
Yep.
What DC character was the original spirit of vengeance before God created the Spectre, or the Presence? A DC villain.
Eclipso.
Eclipso. That is
Yeah.
right.
Very cool. I know my magic. I do
Yeah,
know that.
Tony
I know my
got it.
magic.
That's sort of a. That last one's a bit hard if you don't know your DC.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a
I was
weird
trying to
question.
figure out where you were going with it, and then I forget what you said. I started to second guess myself.
Well,
Maybe not.
I came up with my questions before I started reading this, and I'm like, did we find that out in this series, or is that before? But they didn't really hint at anything in the first 3 issues. So
So for the retro review tonight, we're doing Day of Vengeance, and this is Tony's pick. Tony, tell us why this was your pick.
One, because I like magic. I feel like, we as collectors, especially if we focus that down even more to just people in the retro review, like we have space covered. Comic Fu is a huge Green Lantern fan, so we have the kind of the space aspect of it. Where I'm more of a magic guy. I also like the multiverse. Not that I dislike the Green Lantern Corps. Love the Green Lantern Corps. But magic is my forte. And especially this book in particular, because it technically is a key / first appearance, but maybe not, because
it's an important book.
It is. It's the Shadow Pact. First appearance and mention the Shadow Pact. Not Justice League Dark, but in my opinion, still important. It's like,
if you like Justice League Dark, you'll love the Shadow Pact. It's a fantastic book.
I would say this would be the Titans version of Justice League Dark. The Shadow Pack is like the Titans for Justice League Dark. So they do a lot. And these characters are pretty unpredictable, especially the Spectre, considering how powerful he is. And there are other books, not in this book, or in this run really. The Phantom Stranger even comes into play, and he's even as powerful as the Spectre. But that's pretty cool. We can get to that another day. But there's other big name magic characters in this book that run into some problems with other characters in this book, and it's pretty cool. I do have one minor nitpick about this story, but I'll get to that later on. So
I was confused up till today when Ryan sent a picture, because I had forgot this existed. Not necessarily story, but the name. There's a DC miniseries called Day of Judgment that also revolves around the Spectre, and I thought that's what we were reviewing.
Is that the one where Hal leaves the Spectre?
No,
that's Green Lantern Rebirth, right?
Yeah, that's that's right.
Or where which is the one where he becomes the Spectre? That's what I'm thinking of.
It is a Day of Judgment.
I don't know.
Weird mix like that.
Because Final Night is where he dies as Parallax. And then after that, he would become the Spectre.
Maybe it's Final Night.
Because Final Night's when he stops being Parallax. He dies.
Okay.
And then he comes back as the Spectre later on.
Yeah, there are some very underrated characters in this book, in my opinion. Or in this just particular run. It is a quick run. You can find this book, relatively cheap in your couple dollar bins for sure. There's only 6 issues in the whole run. So
so we're going to get started on a retro review right after we say hello to Poor Mike and to Warlord, who both have joined us. So who wants to kick off with issue 1? And Tony, do you happen to have a share for us this week or not?
Yeah, I'll kick off issue 1.
Okay.
And I do. Let me pop my screen up here. Hopefully it works this time, because last time it didn't. Let me see here. Let's see. Right there. Oh, look at that. It works. I knew it was something wrong with Comic Fu's computer, not mine. Remember last time I was sharing my screen? It was like...
Yeah, and I shared mine too, and it started doing it as well.
An epilepsy test. Yeah. So we... There's a prologue here. I'll touch on it briefly. So they don't really explain who this character is and who she's talking to, but you will find out this stone or gem comes into play here. It's very important. This person is looks to be like having some kind of mental breakdown, but they grab the stone or the emerald, and it kind of fuses them. And then we get this at the end. I don't want to spoil anything yet, but that's kind of a giveaway. If you know Magic characters, you'll recognize that right away.
Do you guys know who that lady was?
Yes, I do.
Yep.
Well, I don't want to spoil it because it's not in the issue yet, or they don't come up with it yet. Let's see. We're gonna cut right to Gotham City here, and we cut to one of my favorite characters, Ragman, and he's doing his crime fighting thing. And what's great about his suit is he can pretty much do whatever he wants. They can stop bullets, he's flame proof, all that stuff. and they can grow, like Swamp Thing's vines, just forever, really. There was one line here that I thought was really cool. So he's beating up this bad guy, and the bad guy was, asking, he's like, asking God to help him out, but he's right here. God's no longer a part of this transaction. He subcontracted me for this job, which I thought was pretty funny. And the Ragman suit is super, magic, and we get our first kind of taste of that right here when he's being summoned to assist someone. So he puts his hood back on, and he is transformed to where he is needed most. He kind of sees this large overgrowth or tree down, throws it off, and who's underneath of it? Of course, the Enchantress, but not the super cool Suicide Squad one. Which this is the part of the story that I didn't really care for. I hate it when they try to make good characters bad or bad characters good. I feel like they're doing that with the Enchantress here, but I really love this big art right here. This one is really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
The Spectre on a big paranormal level, doing battle. You have different planets in the background or whatever. And
it was cool too, because when she was pointing it out to him, he's looking out and he's like, I don't see anything. And she's like, look up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you miss that?
He had to look above the tree line, to see it.
And the Spectre is battling this guy right here, and his name is Blackheart Thorn, if I'm pronouncing that right. Not a character
or something, right?
Right? No, Blackbriar Thorn. Yeah.
Isn't he a Alan Scott one? I always know they fought before.
Yeah.
Alan Scott, Green Lantern.
It's an enemy, you're saying?
Yeah, he's like a wood enemy.
Oh yeah.
And he's weak to wood.
Yeah. And they're talking about the something's happening in the future. So they go to, if you are a big John Constantine fan, the Oblivion Bar, which is kind of like this mystical bar. And I love the drunk dead man. Or maybe he looks kind of drunk with his eyes there. But do you guys know who any of these characters are?
I knew most of them. I knew the Question, and I know that they mentioned Madame Xanadu.
Yep, Madame Xanadu.
I knew her. Now the bouncer. At first, I didn't realize who that was, and then once they pointed out, I went, "Oh, I just wasn't used to seeing him drawn or colored that way."
Yeah, he's drawn a little bit different than he is traditionally. This is the Blue Devil. So anyone who's seen Swamp Thing season 1, who's also a big Devil or Blue Devil fan like me, you got a big taste of the Blue Devil on TV, which is pretty cool. But Blue Devil's also part of the story. Lots of cool stuff. So they're in this bar. They're talking shop. The Blue Devil, not Blue Double. In comes crashing Spectre and a guest, in like another. This panel is kind of confusing because if you look at it, you think they're crashing into the bar, but they're not. They're just kind of merging two stories into one on one panel here. So that's relatively confusing. I dislike when I do that, but they're talking about magic. They're talking about the Rock of Eternity. They're talking the Spectre's big battles. The Enchantress isn't well liked in the Oblivion Bar. There's also Damian Blood kind of minions in here, which is kind of cool. I thought that was cool. There's a couple Felix Faust minions in the background you can see. There is a Gentleman Ghost in the background, if you guys remember Gentleman Ghost. Mm-hmm. He's pretty cool. But yeah, they notice it's kind of, they're like, okay, guess we're going to gear up to this quest and we're going to solve this problem. In comes Detective Chimp at the Oblivion Bar. And it looks like he's been there a while. He's got a couple of pints down, the whole pack of cigarettes smoking. But I like the Blue Devil's line here. He's like, "Oh joy, bring on the drunken chimp." And if you are Injustice fans like myself, so this is kind of, if you remember, Detective Chimp plays a huge role in that series. So if you recognize the Detective Chimp from Injustice or even the current Justice League Dark series, that's where we see him from. They took his cigarettes away. I don't know why. He was like John Constantine, just always had a cigarette. I guess they stopped doing that, but that's whatever. So they decided, okay, we're gonna go check this out. Cut to the Rock of Eternity here, where the wizard Shazam is watching the Spectre. So he sends Billy Batson out to investigate, and then we see Billy Batson taken off to not let the wizard down, so to speak. And that kind of concludes issue 1 with Donna Troy making an appearance at the end. Not really, but just on the last page.
So overall, from reading issue 1, just a couple of quick thoughts before we segue into issue 2. You know, as most issue 1s are, a complete setup.
Yes.
Spectre is in a mood, and I can't wait to find out why or what has brought this upon. But he is in a mood, and the artwork is good. I thought there were enough characters and diverse characters, even though they're all magic based, to hold my attention. And I really enjoyed the issue overall.
If you read Infinite Crisis, you'll understand. This ties in with that, and you'll understand once we get to certain points of the story. You'll see where they crisscross into each other. But,
I thought this was happening during it, but if you look at the top, 6 months until. So this actually counts down to issue 1 of Infinite Crisis.
Yep.
All right. So this is the prequel.
Yep. And if you remember the Spectre in that storyline and what's going on, this is why I won't take that away, because it's kind of a cool reveal, I think. So
there's a lot of series that led up to Infinite, like we saw Donna was dead.
Yeah.
And there's a series bringing her back like right before Infinite Crisis.
Yep. Well, as Tony gets ready for issue 2, I'll say hello to a few folks who have joined us during Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. Captain Comics is here, Actual Dracula is here, and Kachun is here too. So thanks for being part of the Sunday Fun Days. Boo, you're going to take over for issue number 2.
Yep. All right. So issue number 2 starts out with the Spectre kind of appearing in front of this kind of I don't know, this weird looking guy, kind of disheveled and unclean, I'd say. And he starts telling the story of basically like why he's there. And it turns out this guy is a serial killer. And so the Spectre is there to unleash his vengeance on him. And he does it with a flock of crows, which then dismember the body of this serial killer. So that's kind of fun way to start this.
It's like it's like a normal Spectre thing to do.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love where they show all the different, like the fingers and the eyeball falling out of the sky as out of the bird's mouth. So, but yeah, and so they go on and they show that the Spectre there's somebody talking to him in his head, and we'll soon learn who. But basically saying like, hey, what are you doing? Like, you're going and you're getting people that like cheated on their spouse or cheated on taxes. And like some of these things, like the serial killer, are justified, but some of these other ones are not. And you need my help to help focus you on the true crimes in society and all. And as it turns out, this person talking to him in his head is that woman that we saw in issue 1 that grabbed the crystal, and I believe at this point is where we learn who it is, right? Yes.
Yep. He says a key thing there. He says, "Are you my new host?"
Yes. Yeah. She asks if she's the new host, and she says, "No, I'm Eclipso." And so that's where we learn that this character is in fact Eclipso. And Eclipso is looking to, again, refocus the Spectre's kind of efforts. And she tells him that, in fact, it's magic that is really what he needs to target, because if there's rules, there's law and order, you know, and when people break that, like, that's what they need to go after. And magic is the #1 rule breaker because it breaks the rules of nature. And so the Spectre kind of agrees. He's like, all right, that's the source of evil. I'm going to go after magic. And that kind of explains why the Spectre is kind of, as Lasso mentioned, kind of acting out right now. So at this point, it flashes over to the Enchantress, and she's kind of in this like a
Trance.
meditation, a trance almost. And actually what she's doing is she is reaching out and connecting with the Spectre to kind of understand why he's doing this. And in doing so, she actually picks up this other voice, and she doesn't exactly know what's going on, but she's reporting back to the rest of the team here that decided to get together from the bar and go do something about the Spectre. She's kind of relaying to them what she's seeing, but she's very weakened when all of this is done. And so then we kind of see the team as they're beginning to come together. None of them are really happy about being there. They kind of think of it as a suicide mission. But Detective Chimp assigns, what's his name, Tony? You just told me in the chat. The guy with the sword.
Nightmaster.
Okay.
Jim Rook.
Okay. Basically assigns him as the leader of this little ragtag group. Meanwhile, it flashes over back to the Spectre and Eclipso, and they are currently battling the Phantom Stranger, which it seems like he's kind of like really kind of able to handle the Spectre at first, and then out of nowhere, the Spectre just zaps him, and it just like sucks all the energy out of him, and he kind of like, it's almost like a Jedi dying, just his clothes kind of fall to the ground. And but the Spectre acknowledges that he can't actually kill him. He can only hold him in this other form for a while. And you'd really have to be paying very close attention. Let me flash back and see. You see where scroll up just a little, Tony? Just down a little now. All right, right there at the bottom of the screen. You see his clothes on the rubbish pile? Look very carefully at the arm there, and you will see a little mouse is running away.
Yep.
And that's going to come up in the future here. But I actually missed that at first, and
I missed it
too.
too.
Go back and see it. So he's taking care of the Phantom Stranger. Now he moves over to Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate falls even quicker. We get like 1 or 2 panels of him, and basically he says that, you know, there's a whole universe within the helmet, so he drops him in there and says, have fun with it. And then he crushes the helmet, kind of entrapping him in. Then we've got Madame Xanadu, and all of her power, he says, comes from reading her cards. So what does he do? He blinds her. So he's one by one taking out all of these major magic users. He's going after the places where they gather. I think there's like the Fountain of Youth that turned Detective Chimp into what he is today. Different clubs that magic users hang out at. And then finally this forest where we saw him battling Briarthorn, whatever his name is. And let's see. So at this point, the heroes are in this forest, trying to figure out what to do. I'm just kind of skimming through here, trying to remember real quick. Oh, yes. At this point, we hit the part where the Enchantress, she hands this enchanted gun to Ragman. And Ragman is like, let me guess, is this to shoot you with? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I have a good side and I have a bad side. And when I get around too much magic, my bad side comes out. And the only way to control it is if I know that there's a consequence to it. And so I need you to promise me.
Isn't that the Crimson Avengers gun?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No idea.
I'm not sure. But she says the only way that she can stop her bad side from coming out if she truly believes that he will fire the gun. And he's like, well, I'm not gonna. And so, you know, that messes that up. But with that, he says, but hold on, there's another option here. I can absorb you into my cloak, because his suit basically absorbs the souls of these criminals that he takes down, with the basically giving them one small slight chance at redemption if they can help him out through the suit. And as we learned, the suit, these souls can actually help power his suit and provide him strength. And so he says, I'll put you in my suit. She says, okay, that's good enough. And he's like, all right. And with that, he takes the hint that she clearly wants him to kiss her. And so he just goes in for the kiss, at which point she slaps him back. And she's like, what are you doing? I didn't want you doing that. He's like, oh, whoops. Yeah. So, but that's not bad enough. Not only is he humiliated with her, then she's got to like double down, and she walks back to the rest of the group and tells everyone else, yeah, guess what this joker just did? He tried kissing me.
That's funny.
So at that point, he puts his hood back on. He's like, all right, let's go fight the Spectre. Now I'm ready to punch something. So they go back, they find the Spectre, and at this point we see he is mid-fight with Shazam. And Shazam is really looking beat up, and they acknowledge that he's probably only got a few minutes left. His magic is quickly draining, and that's the source of his power. So as his magic drains, he's getting closer to dying here. And they basically realize they have to take down Eclipso in order to stop the Spectre. And while Captain Marvel currently has the Spectre distracted for as long as he can stay alive, and they are calculating his odds at very, very low of staying alive for much longer, that is the small window of time that they have to stop Eclipso. And with that, the story ends. Issue 2 comes to an end.
Yeah, so with this story, once again, artwork continues to be strong, I thought. It was well written. I had a little difficulty, as I was telling the fanboys before, the part with the Enchantress saying that she was kind of seducing Spectre. I'm like, well, I know that's the Enchantress and that's not Eclipso, the female Eclipso, but it seemed to me like Spectre was more into the female Eclipso because she was feeding him what he wanted to hear. So that part was a little confusing to me. I understand how you broke it down, but just as a casual reader, I really reread that several times trying to get the grasp of what was going on. Outside of that, I thought it was really good. Like last issue, which I didn't mention, this issue, once again, the cliffhangers end perfectly.
Yeah. Oh, and I love the text at the end. It says like 30 seconds to save the world or something next issue.
Yep.
And once again, I really felt that there was an urgency for Captain Marvel, because, I mean, they were talking in seconds of how long, because if they don't get their job done while he's alive, if he can take out Captain Marvel, these magical characters are gone like that, you know? Mm-hmm. Captain Marvel's a big gun here, so I thought it was a continued strong second issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree.
All right, Tim, you want to kick us off for number 3?
All right. So we start off, seeing Spectre and Shazam fight. Sorry, I haven't talked in a minute. All right. And we see the Shadow Pack going after Eclipso here. And, they're not doing too well. Blue Devil hits her with some fire, and that's nothing. We see Ragman attack her with the suit, and she shreds the suit. And Ragman's shaken because he just, said he lost hundreds of his souls. Yeah. He's like, they're not going to get any chance for redemption, like just like that. 100 souls gone. Blue Devil sort of snaps him out of it and immediately gets knocked across town. And then we get a glimpse of what Bobo and, I forget this girl's name all the time.
Yeah, I forget.
Nightshade, yeah. They're like in a suburban neighborhood, just walking down the street. Nobody's paying them any attention.
Strolling along in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah.
Well, she explained that, like she she's got like a magical spell so that they can't see them. As long as Detective Chimp doesn't get too goofy. Because he was like talking to himself or something. She's like, I'm not going to be able to hide that.
I think this is the part where he's talking about he's making her mad talking about the Enchantress, and he's just like, you don't really do anything. You know what I mean? Like, you haven't shown what you're capable of. It's actually a long talk through this book, and basically they're going somewhere, and he's like, I just hope we could get permission from her dad to let her stay out late. So apparently he has a secret weapon that he's heading towards. And we see Blue Devil. He's coming out of the wreckage, and he's just like, hopefully the world don't end before I can make it all the way back over there. And now we get actually some really cool scenes with the Eclipso fight. Nightmaster hits her, and she's like, that hurt. She's like, and he's like, I'm glad to hear it. And then Ragman attacks again. And about this time, we see Blue Devil show back up, and he's talking to Enchantress. Basically, we learn, because she's just standing there not helping, and she explains, I'm channeling, Shazam gets his power from, the Rock of Eternity, and I'm helping channel that energy stronger to him. And, like, yet again, she gets kissed again, this time by Blue Devil. And I love this. He throws his trident, nails Eclipso right in the stomach. So, I mean, it sort of looks like she's down for the count, like this goo is just coming out of her. And then it switches back basically to Enchantress. Not only is she funneling power from the Rock of Eternity, but you're seeing all these magical heroes are lending. There's Alan Scott, there's Zatanna. We're seeing the Atlantean, like these fish people. Says deep beneath the earth, 10,000 warriors of the Lemura pit put off their resurrection. We see the mouse, Phantom Stranger.
Yes.
All kinds of people. Yeah.
That mouse we saw, that was the Phantom Stranger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like he was turned into a mouse in order to, because the Spectre couldn't kill him, but he could turn him into a mouse.
Yeah. And we see all this energy is being funneled into Shazam. He's powered up, and it sort of throws the Spectre off. It's like, hey, you were nearly drained. How? And he, looks like he's maybe starting to get the upper hand, but at the same time, Enchantress is barely holding on. And this book ends on sort of another cliffhanger. Basically, they've got to the house, and you see Chimp say, "Good evening, Mr. Zyklin," and Lori come out to play. So a character named Lori Zyklin, who, if you've read Shadow Pact, you know who it is, but I won't say anything. But,
so that's the name of this
character.
team, right? It's Shadow Pact?
Yep.
Because we kind of glossed over
I don't think they've
but
named them.
Yeah,
I don't think they've named them
Yeah.
yet either, but there's several pages that I kind of skipped through where they were having conversations around Chimp thinks it's important that they have a name for themselves. He's coming up with all these goofy names.
Yeah. Yeah, because I believe the Shadow Pact book comes right out of this.
I think so. You're
once
right.
this ends, and Infinite Crisis ends, of course, then they have their own book.
What I liked about this issue, there were several things. So the pace of the story is going very well. So far, here we're halfway through this miniseries. Art continues to be strong. I like how we're getting these almost near splash pages in parts of the story that you necessarily wouldn't expect to find them at. I really like the fact that not only when Captain Marvel is so close to losing power, and everyone's kind of donating their energy, even though it might mean it's going to be longer for them to resurrect themselves or have the power for themselves. They even come to say that people such as someone who's always seems to be lucky to get the green light when he's driving down the street, that's a little bit of magic too. and everyone is donating what they have, and I thought that was a cool aspect of the story too. Plus, when
great.
Shazam starts powering up, I mean, it really takes Spectre by surprise.
It reminded me
next
of like
time you're driving.
It reminded me of like a Blue Lantern powering up a Green Lantern, right?
Yeah.
And Shazam was just getting overcharged. It was cool.
Yeah, it was really good. Once again, I thought we left on another good cliffhanger. So, I mean, overall, for a series that we're halfway through, it's held my attention. I'm curious as to what's going to happen, what the resolve is going to be. I've only read up until this point myself, and of course, next week we'll continue the last half of this. But I'm already wondering what next issue's cliffhanger is going to be, and as well as the interiors, the covers are very strong. I seem to be a fan of very colorful comic books, and this certainly has a lot of color in it too.
Yeah.
Was this Tony or Tim? Was this done on like Baxter paper or something shinier or nicer than what they normally do?
No, I think it's the same at that time.
Is it? Okay.
Most of the books. But what I like about this is a series. It's not technically a key. It's not worth anything. If you pay attention, you'll see it in dollar bins everywhere, but it's a fantastic story.
It has been so
far.
I
mean, the
really
type of thing
it.
you want in your collection. Yeah.
Yeah. I preach many times that there are great comic books that aren't keys, and just because it's not a key doesn't mean it's not a great comic book to have.
Agreed.
Yeah. There's great stories
Even
out
with
there.
events, I mean, some tie-ins are terrible, but like you do your diligence and read, you can find a lot of good ones.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah, so
good story, Tony.
Overall, I'm invested in it.
Yeah.
Tony, you have anything?
Does Harley make an appearance?
Thank God she does not. Issue 1, page 1, she's dead. Great story.
Don't worry, Tony. There'll be a little Harley when we get to the Gods of Gotham storyline. So.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I don't think she was really a big part of the DC universe at this time yet.
Probably not. What is this? 2005?
No, she hadn't had her own series yet, or anything like that.
Was it 2005? Yeah, you're right.
This was a good time in DC Comics.
So. June 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time in DC Comics for sure.
She probably only had a handful of appearances and continuity around then.
Yeah. So. She wasn't then what she is now. So, as we wrapped up this portion of the retro review, let's do a book show. Who would like to start?
I'll go first. I'll bite the bullet. I've shown this book before, but I still want to show it because it's still a very affordable key. It is a super affordable key, and that is Ragman #1. This is the first appearance and first issue of Ragman. So you can still find this book, easily for under $30 in good condition too. Whether or not he's going to jump on a movie, maybe he'll make an appearance in the Justice League Dark HBO Max series along Zatanna and John Constantine. Who knows? But keep in mind, we already have Dr. Fate, John Constantine, and Zatanna confirmed. So, and Madame Xanadu. I forgot about Madame Xanadu. So it's sometime I think he's going to show up. He was also on Arrow for a few episodes, but that doesn't count because it was awful. But
I liked him. I thought he was good.
Well, they did him dirty, I think. They did him dirty. So
I think there was more potential to the character than they allowed to. To that they showed. So.
Yeah, keep an eye out for Ragman in your dollar bin diving or your keys. If you stumble upon it, grab it, scoop it up. Easily
awesome.
For the key.
All right. So, Fu, what do you have for a book show today?
Well, I was going through my collection today, reorganizing some stuff, and I came across a box of some Green Lantern that I haven't shown yet. And I picked this one out here. This is Katma Tui.
Katma Tui?
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, this is from the old Mattel Collecting Connect. I think it's this one is Kilowog. You can see it includes the body down there.
Hoosers.
Yeah. So she's kind of a cool character. She is the successor to Sinestro on what is it, Kurgar? Yeah. And is comes between Sinestro and his daughter in terms of the Green Lantern for Kurgar. And then, just for fun, just because I wanted to make Lasso a little jealous, I told him that I found this the other day. I went to my LCS and look what they had waiting for me.
Wow.
Oof. A whole collection of Silver Age Justice League. So I thought I'd just do a quick little preview here tonight, and then the rest of this is going to go in my Comic Finds video. But these are in beautiful shape. All 12 and 15 centers, starting with 71 here. And I'm collecting this, of course, because I'm trying to go after these additional Green Lantern appearances. But here's one that I really enjoyed. This is number 72. And my son and I were in the LCS laughing over this one because poor Hawkman. He's taken out by being turned into a salt statue.
A salt statue.
And now Hawkgirl has to become Pepper to go with him.
Oh, that's so
First
bad.
appearance of Salt and Pepper in the DC universe.
That's so bad. So if you want to see all these books that I picked up, it will be on my next Comic Finds video coming out later this week. So it should be a good one.
Yeah.
Nice stack of Silver Age.
For sure.
Awesome.
Tim, what you got for us?
I just got a couple of pickups I got this week that tie together. One is from Foo from an auction a couple of weeks ago. A cool
Nice.
reverse Red Death variant.
Is that a Flash 750?
No, it's Dark Knight's Metal 4.
Okay.
And I was lucky, probably about an hour-ish after I bought this, not too long after the auction. I was like, man, I was thinking of something that would go great with this, and an auction was ending on eBay. Nobody bid on it, so I pretty much got it at retail plus shipping.
Nice.
The reverse Red Death and following figure. So that was my two coolest pickups this week.
Very, very nice. What I brought for a book show, I decided to pull 3 books, starting with The Fury of Firestorm, number 24. Ooh. First appearance of Blue Devil.
Yep.
Good one.
And we might as well go with the second appearance of Blue Devil and his origin in Blue Devil, number 1.
Yeah, he looks a lot more like a blue version of Hellboy in the book we just read.
He does.
Well, wasn't he just like in a robot suit back then?
No.
Like in his beginning, it was a robotic suit over his body?
No,
I don't remember that. We got summer fun here with the Blue Devil Annual number 1. Now, does anyone know what's really special about this issue besides the summer fun?
I give up.
Boy, Tony, I thought you'd be the first one who would know this. This is an unofficial team appearance of Justice League Dark. As you have Blue Devil, Creeper, Man-Bat, Madame Xanadu, Etrigan, Black Orchid, and the Phantom Stranger. And in the issue, Creeper suggests forming a spooky Justice League of America.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, there you go. I think deep down I might have known that. Maybe not. I don't know.
You have that one?
I don't.
You have to get that on the want list then, because that'd be a good one to have. So
it would.
Those are 3 fun Blue Devil books that since he was featured in this series, and that was kind of a shock to me. I didn't know that ahead of time going in. I thought, well, let's pull those and revisit those. That was a series I did enjoy at the time. So as for channels and what's going on in folks' channel, we'll go back the way we started. Tony, what you got?
I'm gonna do a haul video. I happen to get a truckload of cool books, and I'll just pull one right at the top here to give you a small preview. Nothing fancy, but still cool. So I scored big and big time, and I think I got pretty lucky. There's a couple of really nice keys in there. Even a few that I'm taking to Baltimore with me to get signed. So happy days are here again. I just got them today. I don't have any time frame of when I'm going to have anything available. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. Comic Fu, you always got something going on your channel. What's lined up?
Yeah, this is a big week on my channel. So on Tuesday, we've got the Mystery Men, and it's a very exciting episode in that we've got Gary Hodges, the author and artist of Dinosaurs vs. Marsbots, on as our guest. And it is Squatchy is also expected to get his books in hand on Tuesday delivered, the first prints of Squatchy and Fu. So if they arrive, then Tuesday's Mystery Men, we will be I'm sure we'll be talking about it the whole show and showing.
We need to have that on the retro review for an episode,
right?
The entire run.
So, and of course, the last 4 pages are where he hasn't released those yet, so everyone's kind of waiting to see what happens. And then let's see. And then later in the week on Thursday, we've got the final Building a Mystery. And then on Friday, rather than having a comic book auction, the Building a mystery boxes are going to go live. So if you have been following that show and if you're interested in those boxes, Friday night will be the big live episode where they go on sale.
Cool.
This coming Friday?
This Friday.
Yeah, and to let people know too, obviously it's a DC show. You have boxes that are strictly DC only.
Yeah. You can choose Marvel, Indie, or DC.
Yeah,
so that you're not going to get any kind of if you don't collect Marvel, not a problem.
You don't have to announce it, but if you did, I may have missed it. Did you talk prices yet, or is that something you're going to talk about later on?
They're $20 a box.
$20 a box. Okay, that's what I figured. It's $25. I just want to be sure.
Yeah, and there's like 3 Shazam #1s in there. There's a first print Killing Joke in there. I think there's 2 Sandman #1, a Prez #1, 2 Shadow #1s. There's some good books.
You know which one I want? I would be chasing the. You have a retailer exclusive for Wonder Girl, the Yara Floor.
Yes,
that's what I'm going to chase.
Okay.
So cool.
We'll definitely have to grab some of those boxes and do another live unboxing like we did in the past with season 1. That was a lot of fun. Can't wait.
So Tim, how about your channel?
Yeah, this week I did a Justice League collection video and a haul showing off a whole bunch of different stuff. This week coming up, I don't have any plans as of yet. Probably just winging it. So probably be watching a lot of Comic Fu, to be honest. So, probably be busy with that.
Yeah, we're all anxious to get our hands on some boxes. I know I am for sure. And I don't do mystery boxes, so if I'm excited for it, you know it's got to be good.
Real quick, though, we need to remember to do this at the beginning of the show. For everyone watching, next week, this show is on Tony Fett's channel.
Yep.
So make sure you sub him up, sub the whole panel up, and we'll be on that channel next week.
So before we wrap up, I'll tell you what's going on my channel right now. So earlier this week, I had another comic book editions video. So make sure to head over and check that out. It's called my Almost Lost video because the file was corrupted. There were syncing problems once I got the file back with the voice, and I could have redone it, but I wanted to keep it. And I was able to, and it's up and it's out there. Now, this week on my channel, this upcoming week, Tuesday afternoon, I should say on Wednesday, will mark my 2-year anniversary as putting out content on YouTube. And I didn't realize this when I filmed this video that's dropping Tuesday afternoon, but it actually ties in really nicely with a huge collection goal that I've accomplished that I'll announce on Tuesday afternoon's video. So I'm super stoked that I can finally start telling people about this because it still blows my mind that this had happened. So that will be dropping on Tuesday afternoon. There will be another cover buy for Friday, so we'll hit October 1st on Friday. It's always DC on the first Friday of the new month. And if I'm remembering correct, I think it's Red Hood and the Outlaws. There's going to be an A cover and a B cover, and me and some friends will decide which is the better of the cover, the A or the B cover. So that's coming up. And when we get into October, I will be doing so much content in October that's geared related to Wonder Woman's 80th anniversary. And I've already started working and editing videos. It's weird that one video, it's going to be a 22-minute video, And I swear, by the time I get it all done, it's going to have taken me 22 hours to do the 22-minute video. So kind of crazy how that turns out sometimes. So be looking for that. And as Tim said, sub everyone up. There's links in the description for this. We will see you next week on Tony Fett's channel for Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. And until then, take care and have a great rest of your evening.